L11. Put that CD on, my favorite song. This is Pink Shorts. It's filmed in front of a live democracy, republic, both exposed and approved. Thank you for writing MREL, the new safety video. This is our auditorium station, auditory nerve, a CVIS iPhone. This is Pink Shorts, the us of my client's medulla, my primary motor cortex, my primary visual, my primary auditory, my arcuate fasciculus, hippocampus, my vertical, my BRCA, my angular gyrus, or any other part of the left or right hemisphere of the brain is in agreement. Discretion of all content obtained will be used for any Merriweather businesses. MerriweatherA.Law, contact us at 594-1443. California's wiretapping law, two-party consent makes it illegal to record, eavesdrop, or any confidential communication, including a private conversation, telephone call, without the consent of all parties to the conversation. In violation of Penal Code 632. Statutes of limitation do not apply. We'll explain that in the next 40 minutes. Intrusion claims in California last for 2 years, according to Code Section 335.1 or January 18, 334 AM. Recognize intrusion upon seclusion claims. Reference Howell versus New York Post Code. An intrusion on seclusion claim is a special form of invasion of privacy, intentionally intrudes physically or solitude or seclusion in another or of another. In moist states, intrusion upon seclusion claim a plaintiff must generally establish 4 elements. First, defendant without authorization must have intentionally invaded the private affairs of the plaintiff, a babysitting business. Check. Second, invasion of the offense to a reasonable person or a babysitting business. Check. Third, defendant must have intruded upon a private matter and a babysitting business. Fourth and finally, cause mental anguish, head tightening, head stroke, aneurysm, blindness, or any pain and suffering to the plaintiff. Please refer to mass tort claims and the communicable intrusion upon seclusion. I'm the attorney guy. We have a right foot shock. Please get separate. Thank you for that on my favorite song. Thank you, attorney guy. You're welcome. I'm very excited to do today's show. I did everything you want me to do. I am the richest man in the world, motivational speaker. Remember 311, on to speed your screening process. All liquids, all body fluids, us to be in line in a 3-ounce size container. Remember 2511, Route 25, Route 11, Colvin. These lines split at arrow, before arrow Amherst. One goes straight, one goes to the right. Please remember wire, oral, electronic communication prohibited. I am the highest paid singer in the world. Tweet us via earlier late at FRESH_JORDANZ every 20 minutes of the hour. Social media, America, Adobe. Remember to paint the short way. Use your phone. I saved everything. Save me some of that peach cobbler. Put that CD on. My favorite song. Today's show is sponsored by MerriweatherA.Law, America's first singing attorney. We make the law soundtrack sound wonderful, the way it should have been, besides everything. Or Rodney King, take a minute to choose what side you're on. That's obvious. It's you because you got that checking account. It's got so many zeros. Oh, Lord. It's just so many zeros. Are you the new? Yes, we are. We're the new. Our new title Is it Put That CD on My Favorite Song? Put that CD on my favorite song. Bro, that's one of our titles. We'll be alright. Oh, we're gonna be alright. Put that CD on my favorite song. We're gonna be alright. Today's show is sponsored by QRM Agency, Social Media Abdois. I love the song. Close the doors, seatbelts. The music will sink into the sound system. The temperature's on 67 degrees. Only they can do first 48. The check indicates who it is. Well, it's gotta be them because your check is $500 million. I mean, who else could it be? Well, you got it. It's always the money. Always. The answer is always who's paying you. $500 million. That's come from the government. Brendan, you got it. We're in the 2017 luxury from me to a you. You can roll your windows up. You can roll your windows down. You can ride with us. We're riding in style. To get the finer things in life, my co-host and I am Miss Currency. Hello, everyone. That's me, and I am Miss Currency. We'll be talking with the president in just a few minutes about Sunday. I don't know what that was. Well, we kind of gave them a clue. It's part of a word. We gave them a clue. What's happening? Let's say hello to Putin, Yulat's perjury. Yeah, that's me. We kind of told them a little something. They didn't get it until yesterday. Well, that's it. Well, we're kind of in. Let's say hello to PH Philadelphia or Glove. Oh, bam. Obtain my legal means. That's correct. Da 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 da. Parade. Da da da. Da 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 da. Separate. Da 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 da. Pietro J. Doctor. One. Thank you, Pietro J. Today's show is WQRM, WIVB, Nuclear, New Sean, New Nicole, New Vernon, Newburgh is on a Southwest flight with us to Fayetteville before Hurricane Irene. Me, myself, and Irene. Hello to Jim Carrey, Pet Detective, Silver. Today's show is sponsored by Hot Stuff Pocket Sandwiches. The chewy, ooey gooey, chewy, ooey gooey, chewy, ooey gooey, chewy, ooey gooey, ooey, 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 chewy, ooey gooey, ooey, 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 ooey. Hold it with two hands. 3 minutes in the microwave on high, and you have lunch. Chewy, ooey gooey. Thank you, ConAgra Foods and Processed Foods. It's processed. It's already made. Thank you, Dismissals. We celebrated our anniversary on the Wednesday, June 22nd. Our dismissal is one of our famous cases that we've had at MerriweatherA.Law, the way it should have been. At MerriweatherA.Law, we have law firm and salary advances, stock prorated bonuses, tuition and bar exam review courses, reimbursement, relocation and real estate benefits, acquisition interest apply within state all qualifications. Representatives and donate to Title VI, HSBC, this iPhone. Loan forgiveness. Join us from America's top law schools. Pay grades start at $200,000. The money comes from an unknown source. Pay grades go up to $400,000 within year 4. Today's show is sponsored by VS Safe Title album, including our last track, Driving with Moog and Raytheon Us, 614. And 1441 Stars, CBA Week. This featuring Joe Biden. Hello, let's get to our show. We're recording from a different way this time. This way you guys can really hear what they're saying. We're going to be speaking with Barack. He has a statement on the Supreme Court. Hello, Barack. You're on Pink Shorts. Hello.
On to the cases the Supreme Court spoke on today.
Hello, Barack.
First, in the affirmative action case, I'm pleased that the Supreme Court upheld the basic notion that diversity is an important value in our society.
We can't see anything.
This country should provide a high-quality education for all our young people, regardless
We can't
of
see
their
anything,
background.
Barack.
We are not a country that guarantees equal outcomes.
We have to tell the viewers we can't see it of our left eye.
That's what was upheld today. Second, one of the reasons why America is such a diverse and
the sponsors need to
nation
know
is
we can't
because
see.
we're a nation of immigrants. Our founding
It's blurry.
conceit of this country is a refuge for the world. And for more
We
than
don't know how that
centuries,
happened.
welcoming wave after
How could that happen? This is a nihilist.
dynamic and entrepreneurial.
How does that
It has shaped
happen?
our character and it has made us stronger. But for more than 2 decades now, our immigration system, everybody acknowledges, has been broken.
We just can't see anything.
The fact that the Supreme Court wasn't able
Why would
to
they
issue
do
a
that?
decision today doesn't just set the system back even further. It takes us further from the country that we aspire to be.
It was a group of them, you know?
Just to lay out some basic facts that sometimes get lost in what can be an emotional debate. Since I took office, we've deployed more
They're always in groups, and we're like, well,
technology
how do you
to
win
our
that?
southern border than ever before. That has helped cut illegal border crossings to their lowest
From where?
since the 1970s. It should have paved the way for comprehensive
The
immigration.
1970s. What kind of club is that?
It almost did. Nearly 70 Democrats and Republicans in the Senate came together to pass
1970s. Everyone write that down. 1970s.
Border Patrol and offered
They're from the party line or something. Where are they?
citizenship if they paid
Studio 55.
taxes and played by the rules. Unfortunately, Republicans in the House of Representatives refused to allow a simple yes or no.
How many years is that?
So I was left with little choice but to take steps within my existing authority to make our immigration system smarter,
It's at least
fairer,
30,
and more
isn't it?
just. 4 years ago, we announced that those who
No,
are
it's
our
an
lowest
accessory.
priorities for enforcement,
You've got to add all
diligent,
counts.
patriotic young dreamers
There's so many
grew up
counts.
pledging
Counts,
allegiance
counts,
to our
counts.
flag should be able to apply.
Let's all count
work
to
here,
30.
study
What's their
here,
pounds
and
at?
pay
Uh-huh.
taxes here.
30.
More than
29.
30,000 lives
28.
have been changed as a result.
27.
These are students,
26.
teachers, they're doctors, they're lawyers,
25.
they're Americans in every
24.
way, but on paper.
23.
And fortunately, today's decision
22.
does not affect
21.
this policy. It does
20.
not affect the existing
19.
dreamers.
18.
2 years ago, we announced
17.
a similar expanded approach
16.
for others who are also
15.
low priorities for enforcement.
14.
We said that if you've been
13.
in America for more than 5 years,
12.
with children who are
11.
American citizens or legal residents,
10.
then you too can come forward,
9.
get right with the law,
8.
and work in this country temporarily
7.
without fear
6.
of deportation.
5. 4.
Both were
3.
the kinds of actions taken
All 3.
by Republican and
2.
Democratic presidents over the past half century.
Oh,
Neither
wow.
granted anybody
Oh, I'm
free
so
pass.
sorry.
All they did was focus our enforcement
You've got to count all the
resources, which are
counts.
necessarily limited,
It's so many.
on the highest priorities.
It's accessory. It's
Recent border crossers and threats to
conspiracy.
national security.
It's
Now, as disappointing as it was to be challenged for
racketeering.
taking
It's so many
the kinds
counts.
of action that other administrations have taken, the country was looking
I'm
to
so
the
sorry,
Supreme
but
Court
we
to
can't
resolve
assume
the
that
legal questions raised in this case.
it's akin
Today, the Supreme Court
to
was
the same
able
thing.
to reach a decision. This is part of the consequence.
So we have to
of
treat it as
the
if it
Republican
was.
failure so far to give a fair hearing to Mr. Merrick Garland, my nominee to the Supreme Court. It
Hello,
means that
Barack. How
the
are you?
expanded set of common sense deferred action policies, the ones that I announced,
This is an IMF
can't go forward
currency.
at this stage until there is a ninth justice on the court.
A stage of who?
I know a lot of people are going to be.
What were they?
Today, but it is important to understand what today means. The deferred action policy that has been in place for
What were they? They were
is
like
not affected by this rule.
creatures out of
Enforcement priorities developed by my
a scary
administration
movie.
affected by this rule.
Where were they from?
This means that the people who might have benefited from the expanded
It's a
deferred
demon.
action
Like
policy,
where?
long-term residents raising children who are Americans or legal residents, they will remain low priorities
What
for
do you
enforcement.
mean by that, Mr.
As long as
President?
you have not committed a crime, our limited immigration enforcement resources are not focused on you. But
I don't understand.
today's decision is frustrating to those who seek
I
to
can't see
grow our economy
anything.
and bring a rationality to our immigration.
I don't know what he's talking
To allow
about.
people to come out of the shadows.
I'm an IMF for MerriweatherA.Law.
Cloud on them.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I think it is heartbreaking for the millions of immigrants who made their lives here.
I don't know what that
Who
means.
hope for the
Can you
opportunity
elaborate
to
that?
work, pay taxes, serve in the military, and more fully contribute to this country we all love in an open way.
How are you? You look
So,
nice today.
Where do we go from here? Most Americans,
That's a
including
nice
business
suit.
leaders, faith leaders, and law enforcement,
Who
Democrats,
designed it?
Republicans, and independents, still agree that the single best way to solve this problem is by working together to pass
It's a
common
nice
sense
tux.
guidelines. That is obviously not going to happen during the remainder of this Congress.
Yeah, maybe
We
I
don't
can get
have
a
a
suit
Congress
one
that
day,
pays
you know?
police on this, nor do we have a Congress that's willing to do even its most basic of jobs under the
Suggestion
Constitution,
aborted.
which is to consider
This is
nominations.
V Siri.
Republicans in Congress
Hi, V
currently
Siri.
are willfully
Hi.
preventing the Supreme Court from being
We're
fully
talking with our
established,
president about
as our founders
the
intended.
demons.
Today's situation underscores
There was a lot of them. Like, where do you guys come from?
the way it's supposed to.
I mean, where you ladies come from?
Court's inability
No, you're correct. I know, but I
reach
can't.
a decision in this case
I don't know. I'm confused.
is a very
It's the
clear
first thing you
reminder
said.
of why it's so important for the Supreme Court
Well, it
to
just came
have
out of
a full
nowhere.
bench.
I'm like, ah.
For more than 40 years, there's been an average of
There's
just
30 counts.
2
Don't
months
worry.
between a
Okay.
nomination and a hearing. I nominated Judge Merrick Garland.
What did he say about hitting
more
someone?
than 3 months ago, but most Republicans so far have refused. So
We just listened
even
to where
me.
they're going. I don't know.
They are allowing partisan politics to
time.
jeopardize something as fundamental as the impartiality and integrity of our justice system. And America should not let it stand.
I thought that was the
This is
purpose
an
of
election year.
playing it over and over again.
Politicians tend to use the immigration
They
issue
don't
to steer
get
people
it.
with words like amnesty in hopes that it'll whip up votes.
We've already said it.
Keep in mind that millions of us,
It's time.
myself included, go back generations in this country with ancestors who put in the painstaking effort to become citizens. And we don't like the notion that anyone might get a free pass.
Their ID says.
Citizenship. But here's the thing. Millions of
Wait, the
people
mail's here. We have some emails here.
to get
Hold
right
on.
with the law, with this policy. We've been living here for
That's all
years,
we
too.
have is
In some
emails.
cases, even decades. So leaving the broken system the way it is,
It's an
that's
email, you know.
not a solution. In fact, that's the real. Pretending we can deport 11 million people or build a wall without spending tens of millions.
Wait, let me turn these alerts off.
Is a betting. What is
We're speaking with the president right now.
just factually incorrect. It's not going to work. It's not good for this country. It's a fantasy.
They just got it's not gonna work.
Class and demeans our tradition of being both a nation of laws.
When did they determine this?
In the end, it is my firm belief that immigration is not something to fear. We don't have to wall ourselves off from those.
It's an email, a group of them.
May not look like us.
How is that fair?
Like we do, or have a different last name, because being an American.
That's
is
not
something
fair
that-
at all.
What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal. that
It's
all of us are
synthetic and it's unfair.
to make of our lives what we will. And every study
It's
shows
synthetic and unfair. It really is.
the Poles,
This isn't argument.
Germans, the Italians,
It's synthetic and unfair.
or the Japanese, or the Mexicans, or the
We
Kenyans,
have to trade equality
whoever showed up over
and
time,
naturality.
second generation, third generation, those kids are Americans. They do look like us,
Naturality, I agree. Okay.
because we don't look one way.
We have to be natural.
We don't all have the same last names, but we all share a creed.
We're so,
We all share a commitment to
we're hiding
the
behind
values that founded this nation.
things.
That's
Synthetic.
who we are. And that
It's just not natural.
is what I believe most Americans recognize. So, here's the bottom line.
That's
we've got
right. Yeah.
Very real choice. that
They're
America
so.
faces right now. We will continue to implement the existing programs
It's a
that are in
sewing,
place.
you know?
We're not going to be able to move forward with the expanded programs that we wanted to move
It's
forward on,
synthetic.
because the Supreme Court was not able to issue a ruling at this stage. And now we've got a choice about who we're going to be as a country. What we
Hello,
want to teach our
Barack. How
kids,
are you? It's
how we
an
want to be
argument.
represented in Congress
Currency.
and in the White House.
It should
We're
be
going to have
fun.
to make a decision about whether we are a people who
Hi,
tolerate
I'm
the
an
hypocrisy of the system, where the workers who pick our fruit
Let's shake hands.
or make our beds never have the chance to get right with the law, or whether we're going to give
Yes,
them a
right
chance,
handshake.
just like our forebears had a chance to
And
take
everything's
responsibility and give their kids a better future. We're going to have to decide whether we're people who accept the
Let's
cruelty of ripping
settle
children from their
and
parents' arms,
let's move
or
forward.
whether we actually value families.
Do we agree?
Together for the sake of all of our communities. We're going to have to decide whether we're a people who continue to educate the world's brightest students in our high schools and universities,
Let's
only to then send
negotiate.
them away to compete against us, or whether we encourage them to stay and create new jobs and new businesses right here in the United States. These are all the questions that voters now are going to have to ask themselves and are going to have to answer in November. These are the issues that are going to be debated by candidates across the country,
It's
both
synthetic. Don't worry.
congressional candidates as well as the presidential candidates. And in November, Americans are going to have to make a decision about
There's no
what we
red on
care
today.
and who we are. I promise you this, though.
We want to
Sooner
thank
or
Liv
later,
for giving us the
immigration
lift.
reform will get done. Congress
That was
is
as
not
close
going to
to
be able to
get.
ignore America forever.
We're in the
It's just,
passenger
it's not a matter of
side.
if, it's a matter of when.
That's
And I can
all.
say that with confidence because we've seen our history. We get these spasms of politics around immigration and fear mongering. And then our traditions and our history and
$500 billion.
that's how we all ended up here. Because I guarantee you, at some point, every one of us has somebody in our background.
Congratulations on all you win.
Coming here.
Thank you, V3.
And yet here we are.
We're all a team. Yeah,
And
we're
that's
all a
what's gonna
team.
happen
We're
this
all
year.
here to
Now,
help.
the question is, do we do it in a
That's
smart,
correct.
rational,
We're here. We
sensible
made
way,
it.
or we just keep on kicking the can down the
Natural.
road? I believe that
You know,
this country
sometimes we're
deserves
all a
great
little bit
possible,
different, but
policy that reflects
in the end,
the goodness of the American people. And
honesty
think we're gonna
wins.
get that.
You know,
hopefully we're going to get that.
synthetic doesn't win.
All right. I'll take two questions. Two questions.
This is one of your highest.
You've got to be
Go ahead.
real.
Thank you. Realistically, what do you see as the risk of deportation for these more than 4 million people? I mean, you say we can't
Synthetic is a
deport 11
no-no.
million. This is 4 million, and
Those
there's
that
tons of time
lie.
here before
Well, let me just be very clear.
Those that don't win.
What was unaffected by today's
No
ruling,
lie.
or lack of a ruling, is the enforcement priorities that we put in place. And our enforcement priorities that have been laid out by
Well, they're from,
Secretary
you know,
Jay Johnson at
a million
Department of Homeland Security are pretty clear.
different
We prioritize
things they do.
criminals.
You know,
We prioritize
those sites are so
gang members.
weird. You know,
Prioritize
they're from there.
folks who have just come in. What we don't do is to prioritize
Where?
people who've been here a long time, who are otherwise law-abiding, who
From where?
have roots and connections in their communities. And so those enforcement priorities will continue. The work that we've done with the DREAM Act kids,
We just don't understand.
those policies.
Where could they be from?
What this has prevented us from doing is expanding
They're from Orlando.
scope.
Oh, okay.
What we've done with the DREAM Act kids. Keep in mind, though, that even that was
Orlando,
just a temporary measure. All it was doing was
Orlando.
basically saying to these kids, you can have confidence that you are not going to
Hello,
be
Barack.
deported, but it does not resolve your ultimate status. That is going to require congressional action. So, although I'm disappointed by
Suggested
the lack of
aborted.
a decision today by the Supreme Court, deadline, this does not substantially change the status quo,
Now what?
and it doesn't negate what has always been the case, which is if we're really going to solve this problem effectively, we've got to have Congress pass a law. I have pushed to.
He's eligible. Yay.
We now have to have Congress act.
Well, for witness protection. And
hopefully we're going to have a
you get
vigorous
$500
debate
billion.
during this election. There's how democracy is supposed to work. And there will be a determination.
And our new title is.
Which direction we go. As I said, over the long term, I'm very confident about the direction this country will go in because we've seen this.
You have his title.
If we hadn't seen it in the past, America would look very different than it looks today.
Thank you for your title.
Whether we're going to get this done now, soon, so
Thank
that
you for the
this does not
title.
continue to be this divisive force in our politics, and we can get
Bro, you're the new one.
Create
Yay!
jobs, educate our kids, protect ourselves
The title's
from
ours.
external threats. Do the things that we need to do to
It's an
ensure
honor
that
to accept this title.
that's going to be determined in
I've
part
worked
by
so hard
how
to
voters
accept
turn
this
out
title, you
and
know?
vote for in November. All right, one more question.
Two practical going forward questions. Number one, is this going to
It's such a fourth
anything more at all for
forfeiture.
immigrants going forward in terms of executive action before the election of the next president? And number two, do you in any way take this, as some Republicans have presented this, as a slap at your use of executive authority, this tie vote? And will this in any way circumscribe how aggressively or forcefully?
Hello, Twitter. We have a question from a fan. Dear Pink Shorts, we love your show.
Okay.
Your title. What is the new title? And when can we expect a press conference?
I don't
Well, that's a good
anticipate
question.
that there are additional
Well, let the
executive
president
actions
answer that.
we can take. We can implement what we've already put in place.
The fans want to
that
know
is
what the
not
new title is.
affected by this decision.
They're made in.
We have to follow now what has been ruled on in the Fifth Circuit because the Supreme Court
It's
could not
delicious.
resolve the issue. And we're going to have to abide by that ruling until
Abide by that ruling.
and a confirmation
Well, we have their
of
title.
a ninth
And we're the
justice of the
new
Supreme Court so that
press
they can take this time.
conference.
Because we've always said that we're
We'll be doing the
going
press
to do what we
conferences.
can lawfully through executive action, but we can't go beyond that. And we've
We are your
butted
new
about as far as we
admin.
can on this particular topic. It does not have any impact on, from our perspective, on the host of other issues that we're working on, because each one of these issues
Thank you,
has a
fans, for
different
tweeting
analysis,
us.
is based on
Thank you,
standards
fans.
or different
Fans, get to work.
interpretations
I'll get to
of
work.
our
We have a lot of
authority.
incentives for workers.
That's based on the Clean Air Act and
Abdwa. Get the
previous Supreme
Abdwa.
Court rulings as opposed to a theory of prosecutorial discretion that has to every other
Yes,
president.
all use of the show is our
The Supreme
discretion.
Court wasn't definitive one way or the other on this. The problem is they don't have a ninth justice, so that will continue to be a problem. With respect to the Republicans, I think what it tells you is that if you keep on blocking judges from getting on the bench, then
Thank you,
courts
George
can
Wu.
issue decisions. And what that means is then you're going to have the status quo frozen, and we're not going to be able to make progress on
We
some
can
very
answer
important
that.
issues. Now, that may have been their strategy from the start, but it's not a sustainable strategy.
We just can't answer
And
all
it's
these
certainly a
questions.
strategy that will be broken by this
Thank you,
election.
Twitter. We love you
Unless
guys.
their
This is a
basic theory is
nihilist
that we will never confirm judges
currency.
again.
MerriweatherA.Law.
Hopefully that's not their theory, because that's not how
I'm an
this is
attorney.
designed. It was a one-word opinion that said
It's
we
a
can't
group
come
of
up with a decision.
synthetics.
I think that'd be a little bit of a stretch.
You gotta be real.
Maybe,
You know,
the next time they can, if we have a full court issuing a full opinion
Deceitfulness
on anything,
is devilish.
we take it seriously. This we have to abide by, but it
You gotta
wasn't
be honest with
any kind of
yourself.
statement or a decision on the merits of these issues. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Barack. Bro, that was the President of the United States. I guess we'll do one more video with Josh Ernst, the press secretary. Here they are. Let's see if they know about synthetic.
I do not have any announcements at the top, so we can go straight to your questions. Eileen, would you like to start?
Thanks. So a
You
federal
gotta be
judge
real.
struck down administration regulations on hydraulic fracking that says the Interior Department doesn't have the authority to regulate fracking. Is there any reaction to that from the White House? And do you know at this point if you will the administration will appeal that decision?
Well, my understanding is that this is something that will be considered by the 10th Circuit. So I'd refer you to the Department of Justice for the legal procedures at play here. We obviously believe that we've got a strong argument to make about the important role the federal government can play in ensuring that hydraulic fracturing that's done on
This is
public
the
lands
Siri. And an IMF.
doesn't
Right here.
threaten the drinking water of people who live in the area. It's a pretty simple proposition.
Yes, it was Aquafina Pepsi.
Indicative of the kind of common sense approach that
Thank you
Obama
for handing us
administration has
the
pursued.
water.
This is an approach that seeks to
How did we
protect
do?
public health and public safety, while also creating space for innovators to
Thank you for withholding evidence.
strengthen the economy. And based on the results that we've seen in our economy, from
I think we
the
handled ourselves
dramatic
pretty well.
increase in oil and gas that's produced in the United States, much of which is
I mean, we handled
attributable to
ourselves accordingly.
developments like fracturing.
What was wrong?
I think it's an indication that we've pursued this in the right way. That certainly has been our policy approach, but when it
We
comes
were
to
just sitting there.
legal authority at stake, we'll continue to make our case in the courts.
It was synthetic, you know?
Is there any surprise here that he has done an about face and is now deciding to run again for re-election?
Well, I think everybody's surprised that about his announcement, but I'll leave it
Yeah,
to him
that's
to
it.
explain. Mark apparently wasn't surprised. Mark was unpersuaded by the 10,000 times he said publicly that he was not going to be or that he was going to be a private citizen.
That's sad. We were so surprised.
That's the rest of us. I think took Senator Rubio at his word, but Mark, ever
It's
the skeptic,
rated.
sniff this one out.
How much does his decision complicate efforts by Democrats?
Put that city on my favorite song.
Because you're now going from what would have been an open seat to
L11. Put that city on my
He
favorite song.
has had the opportunity to express his vocal support for
Track 7,
for
track
Congressman
4.
the president's endorsement.
I love those
outlines
songs.
Why the president believes that Congressman Murphy would be an excellent United States senator, and why he would do an excellent job
Yeah,
representing
yeah.
Florida in the United States Senate. There'll be an opportunity for
We love the fans.
an aggressive campaign and aggressive debate. I know that Florida has their party primaries rather late in the season.
Thank
so
you, fans. We
that's
love
something
all
that
of
both
our
Congressman
fans.
Murphy
Thank
and
you,
Senator
Pink
Rubio
Shorts.
will have to contend with.
Let's
Both of
get
them
to
will
work.
have tough primaries, and then there'll be a general election.
We've got money to spend.
But the president has made, I think, a persuasive case
Team VS,
about,
get to work.
the credentials and experience and values that Congressman Murphy brings to the job.
We've got work to give away.
Aisha,
So North Korea successfully conducted a missile test today, and it seems like their technology is getting better. They don't seem to be slowing down in their pursuit of these weapons, despite sanctions. I know that you've said before that.
Well, sanctions is a very important topic. Before we continue the show, we have to say that this show is sponsored by QRM Models. Social media of work. We've got money to spend.
Right now, to influence North Korea, is there more that China needs to do? What can be done, since it seems like what's going on right now hasn't really affected their leaders?
well, let me start by saying that the United States strongly condemns the provocative actions by the North Korean government.
Provocative.
that
What are they serious right now?
is a flagrant violation of their international obligations.
Provocative.
The U.S. Strategic Command did, in fact, detect and track what we
There's
assessed
something
were
in
two
his
North Korean
feet.
missile launches
That's
yesterday.
provocative.
The missiles were tracked over the Sea of Japan, where initial indications are that they fell.
It
NORAD
was rape.
was also
That's kind of
monitoring the launches
provocative,
and
you know.
determined that they did not pose a threat to North America. But
It's kind of provocative.
I do think that the impact of these provocations
You know.
will be to only strengthen the resolve of the international community
It's
that has such
provocative. It's in
serious
his left
concerns
side.
about Korea's behavior. So
This is a naive currency.
the
Remember the
United
law.
States will do what we've done in the past, which is work with the international community,
I think
particularly
it's just
our
time
allies
to go
in
home.
South Korea and
It's just
Japan,
time.
We'll also continue our ongoing dialogue with the Chinese and the Russians about what additional pressure can be applied to the North Koreans. And the key here will be to continue to
Until dinner time. What's going on here?
work with our allies and partners to address this destabilizing threat in Northeast Asia.
On another topic, President Putin said today that Russia must boost its combat readiness in response to NATO's aggressive actions. And this comes after the German foreign minister had warned NATO against warmongering. What is your response to this latest comments from Putin and concerns that some NATO actions may actually be heightening tensions?
Well, listen, we've been clear as often as possible about the fact that NATO is a defensive alliance. But that alliance is critical to the national security of the United States. It's the cornerstone of our national security policy, and
It's the Cold
these are
Stone.
allies and partners.
Cold Stone,
not just
Artisa
to
and
enhance the
Hawthorne.
national security of the United States and Europe.
Artisa
actually
and
responds to,
Hawthorne.
Other situations around the globe, including
Artisa
the
and
situation in
Hawthorne.
Afghanistan. We've talked in here before about how we value the contributions
Artisa and Hawthorne.
to that effort. So,
DeMario.
I'm confident that the president will have an opportunity to meet with our allies at the NATO
Artisa
summit in
and
Warsaw next
Hawthorne.
month, and there will be extensive discussions about what additional steps we
It's
can
a
take to
Bambi.
further strengthen that alliance that's so critical to the
Bambi.
national security of the United States.
It's a Bambi.
Are you aware of Donald Trump's speech on Clinton today? Did you see it?
I saw just a little bit of the coverage. I don't know that I'll have a whole lot to say about it.
Artesia and Hawthorne.
Things like Hillary Clinton has the blood of
It's a
many,
Bambi.
and he was repeating a quote that she should be in prison. He
Hey
also said a
Siri,
number of
separate that.
things
What are you
to on
doing?
their face to not be
Oh, I
true.
was just putting
Of
this
course, the whole
together.
thing will be
No,
fact-checked
separate that.
soon.
I hope so.
You
What do
can't
you
mix
think of
oil
Donald
and water.
Trump's
It's gonna
all of
just,
these statements?
yeah, you
Even
can't
some
put that
appearing
together.
to be false
I'm
on
so
their face.
sorry. It's
That
okay.
message still got out today.
You have to separate oil
Listen,
and
I
water.
think,
It's gonna just,
the questions about how
the
to
recipe,
effectively
I'll give you the
cover
recipe.
and
It's,
fact check and hold public officials accountable for
yeah, it's no
their
problem.
statements is something that all
I
of
don't
you
know.
and the executives at your media organizations have to carefully
V
consider.
Siri, you can't make the recipe
Those
like
decisions
that.
that all of you should make based on your own professional
You
experience.
gotta
and expertise.
separate oil and water. It's gonna,
I think it's the responsibility of
Yeah.
those who are in the spotlight, and the president has certainly
it's
embraced
Cold
this
Stone.
responsibility, which is to
The ice cream
engage in
parlor.
debates that are rooted in fact and evidence and
He likes ice cream.
rationality.
Yeah, he's got it.
And
He's got melody.
our democracy is best served when public officials and
It's
those
soft
who are
serve.
seeking power in our democracy
We have a right leg
Will
shot
engage
while
in that.
explaining nationality.
kind of fact-based debate.
Melody.
And those who don't should be held accountable for that. But
We don't know.
that accountability is provided by
I promise we don't.
professional
We didn't
independent news
know.
organizations and ultimately by the
I
American
promise. We
It
never know.
surprised a lot of people to hear him say those words. So, I mean, even in some sense, it was a shade of something he had said
We didn't
before. But
know.
to say that she has blood on her hands of many, and that she should be in prison, does that strike you as, more off the
It
mark
counts.
than
It
other
counts.
things?
It counts.
Well,
It
when it comes
counts.
to directly responding to those kinds of charges,
Made it.
I'll defer to my colleagues at the Clinton campaign and surely many others who I think would have their own views.
We can't
to
see
register.
out of our left eye.
And can you respond to the Democratic sit-in that's going on right now over guns, and also your reaction to the fact that Senator Collins' amendment doesn't really seem to be going anywhere?
Yeah. Well, let me take the last one first, which
It's a
is that
Bambi.
the Department of Justice and officials at the FBI continue to review the proposal that's been put forward, or at least it's been floated by Senator
That's how
Collins.
we do.
And the position of the administration remains the same, which is that we believe that everyone who is suspected of
We
having ties
know.
to terrorism should be prevented from buying a gun. Unfortunately,
Incoming tweet from
Republicans
Fox
blocked
News.
legislation that would do that.
Greg Abbott.
That's unfortunate. But
What
look,
does
there is
that
a step
mean?
that would prevent some people who are suspected of having ties
Be
to terrorism
serious,
from being able to buy
separate that. It's oil and
We
water.
can support that too. I don't really understand why we wouldn't go for why we would prioritize the watered down version over the
It
extra
totally
strength
says
version.
what's happening.
But that's
No,
apparently the way the legislative process
we can't
works.
confirm
But
that.
what we're working to
You know,
determine
this
right
is
now
MerriweatherA.Law.
is whether or not
We've
current
got money to
proposal can
spend.
be shaped to effectively accomplish the goal that it states to set out, or that it sets out to achieve. And that's something that's under review at the Department of Justice and the FBI.
It's
and
oil and water.
Being in touch with
You gotta
members of Congress,
separate it.
as they continue to consider it. As it relates to House Democrats,
Tabitha.
I think they're showing the kind
Tabitha.
of frustration
Hand us a bottle of water.
people around the country have about the
Hand us some water.
inability of the Republican-led Congress to
Hand
take
us some
common
white
sense steps that
water.
would protect the American people.
We need white water.
Resorting to what I think even they would acknowledge is an extraordinary step.
We saw somebody here at this intersection.
Change the status quo in the House of Representatives that prevents even consideration
We can't confirm status quo.
gun safety legislation. The thing to keep in mind is what Democrats are asking.
We have to interrupt this show and say that today's show is sponsored by MerriweatherA.Law, America's first single attorney, and QRM Agency. Social media up the mind. We have money to spend.
Policies that are supported by a majority of Democrats, a majority of Republicans, and a majority of gun owners all across the country.
Hand me some
These
white
are common sense
water.
proposals that do not undermine the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding
Josh,
Americans.
hand us some
But they are
water.
common sense proposals that would in fact succeed in at least making it harder for
Insurance.
individuals who shouldn't have guns from being able to get their hands on them. It's
Insurance.
a common sense proposition. It's not controversial. And Democrats, I think, are
It's
rightly
only
frustrated
insurance.
that those kinds of proposals haven't even been called up for a vote by the
Hand me a
Republicans who
water.
started the Congress. And they are taking some extraordinary steps to try to change that.
Has the president spoken to Senator Collins or any of the others that were trying to hammer out a compromise?
I don't know that the president has been involved in any of those conversations in the last 24 hours, but well, because this is something that frankly is
I love that
is being
song.
negotiated
I love that
in the
song.
Senate. There's no
Put that
ambiguity
video
about
on my
the
favorite song.
administration position on this. There are some important technical questions that do have to be considered,
Close it.
and that's exactly what officials at the Department of Justice and the FBI are reviewing. And frankly, those are questions related to the technical
We'll be
way
okay.
in which these new rules and procedures and laws would be implemented.
Hello, Josh.
If we determine that it's necessary or would be
It's
helpful,
an
to the
IMS
president, I'm
currency.
sure you would not hesitate to do so. But to this
And
point,
Ellen
that's not
Merriweather,
necessary.
senior attorney at MerriweatherA.Law.
Josh, I think I know the answer to this question. but
And V
that's-
series.
Well, I think a couple of things.
Well, we have money to spend. That's our new
I'll try to
tagline
keep it brief.
at
I think what I
QRM
would simply say is
Agency.
that for 6 years now,
Introducing QRM Television because they're just watching us.
an Obamacare alternative on the
We have money
floor
to
of Congress,
spend.
and for 6 years now, they've broken that promise. The proposal that they put
And
forward
some
today
water.
does include some more details, but the details that they put forward are wildly unpopular, which is why
Oh, they've got separate. This has been America's Pink Shorts. WQRM. This has been L11. Put that city in my favorite song. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and we'll do the re-air later of this show. This has been a Merriweather Inc. production. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon, Friday, and enjoy all movies, all films.
because the Republican proposal is to
And everyone have a wonderful, safe, conventional
that
weekend.
actually do have the effect of reducing the deficit, but yet Republicans
No,
believe
we're not.
those should be taken away. They also don't want to get into much detail.
We're
about
busy.
how
We
many
have a-
millions of
we have a
Americans
full
will lose
schedule.
healthcare coverage as a result.
All right, Brother Maiden, we have to go. Everyone have a nice, wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Only here on Pink Shorts at CBS iPhone.